So hello everyone and welcome to the second video on XrmTypeFast mini-series. In this video I am going to provide you with information about how to prepare your client-side project in order to be used within Dynamics CRM JavaScript web resource. And so this is basically a client-side project, not a server-side. And by the end of this video, you will be able to proceed to using XrmTypeFast library. So, without wasting any time, I'm just gonna jump right ahead to a notepad file, which I will share its content with you. And in here, I have provided you with all the steps that we are gonna do. Okay. So first we're going to create a project directory on my desktop or anywhere as you may wish. You can create your directory. Project. Okay. And then I am going to open the VS Code. There it is. What was that one? Let me open it again. Okay. Now it is in here. Then we are going to npm init. So, what is npm init? Before telling you what that is, in fact, here in Visual Studio Code, we mostly we prefer to use the VS Code in order to write down our client-side codes, but it also supports so many different languages, as we all know. So I open a terminal in here and write down here npm init, and indeed by pressing enter button, I'm going actually to create a local project, okay, an npm project. So I stick with the some values that are suggested to me. Keywords, author, maybe I should specify this one, and the ISC, which is in fact the free software. Okay. So now I'm having a package.json file. Well, package.json, what is that? This is the question that you might ask. In fact, what is a package? So a package, which is in fact in our example is in fact the project or the project directory that contains a package, is something equivalent to, let me write down in here. Then if I open the Visual Studio, Visual Studio, okay. So this is a Visual Studio project, which contains two projects inside of it. Where actually, when we open the properties, we can fill some values like total, description, company, product, font version, trademark, whatsoever. Okay, assembly version. So in fact, these values that I have shown to you, in fact, provide some information about the project. Okay. Here, these information that I am actually providing here in the package.json act exactly similar thing. Okay. So the package is the project, in fact the project equivalent, and the package.json is going to provide us with some information regarding that project. So let me close that, and as you see, this is a JSON file and it's containing some key values. Name is clear, version is clear, description is clear, but what is that main stuff? Okay, main in fact is the entry point of your project. It is like a console application in the world of C#, where actually in the program.cs the main method is the starting point of the console application. Okay, so I'm not going to open up the Visual Studio again. In a console application, C# console application, the program.cs contains a main method, which is the entry point of a console application. Almost the same concept is applicable, in fact, to other types of projects except for class libraries and stuff like that. Okay, so the entry point here is the main method. So if we are going to create a package that we are going to use like an exe file, okay, the entry point of this package would be the index.js, and it must be a file that we are going to specify somewhere. We're going to give it a clear for example, our package is going to do this. Okay, let an alert a. This is our package. Okay, so here I am going to specify the directory exactly as. But if I put this package in a library, in a directory, then I am going actually to also specify the location of the file. Okay, but we are not going to do that kind of stuff to our package. We are going to use, in fact, not the whole package, but a file within our package, and I will give you an explanation. You will have a good understanding of that. So for now, you just keep in mind that if you were supposed to use your package somewhere, then the index.js file would be the starting point of your package. And by the way, I maybe should give you get you familiarized with npmjs.com, which in fact is a repository that so many people, so many developers all across the world over time have registered their packages in, and we can search for those packages. I will do that in just a minute. And so if you actually have created your package and your package was supposed to do something starting from the main actually file, then you could in fact do some stuffs where actually the process in fact is documented but by the npmjs.com, and you would in fact deploy and register your package to this website. Okay, so that actually by doing that you can make it available for other developers as well. But we are not going to do that kind of, again, I am going to emphasize that this whole package is beneficial for us, but we are not going to deploy all the package. And you might guess it is because from all of this package stuff, there is one at the end. In fact, there is a JavaScript file which is going to have a content, and I am going to use that content to deploy in a web resource of type JavaScript within Dynamic CRM in order to use that. Okay, and that's it. I am not going to deploy the whole package anywhere. Okay, so you got me. Then we have another tag in here, in fact another key value pair, and that is the scripts, and within it you can see test and something. Okay, and what is this? Let me get to here and clear the screen for you, and npm run-script test. This test is this test. I'm telling, okay, Mr. Notepad Manager, run the script. This is script, in fact, run a script test, and it's gonna show me, echo to me something, right? So I am going to echo to myself, hello. And by the way, every change that you apply to any of the files should be saved. Okay, hello, echo hello. Okay, and maybe you are gonna play around with it a little bit. ping. I am going to ping something. Ping 8.8.8. So I'm going to ping a website. So normally I would go with this, right? But now I go with this npm run dash s run dash script ping, right? And as you see, it is doing exactly the same thing. So here we can provide some script files, okay? And it is in fact the name of the command and some command, right? And these commands must be understandable by the CLI, okay? As you see, ping is understandable, echo is understandable. It knows what, in fact, hello, and so on and so forth, okay? So this is the package.json that I have provided you with information. And wow, that was a whole lot of explanations. And so from here, I am going to look for a package called TypeScript. And I'm searching for that. Okay, you guys. And the final version of this package 533 a month ago, okay? So with this command, I am asking the npmjs.com, which I explained to you is a repository, to download, so you're gonna make sure that your internet connection is okay, to download all those in fact packages, and then npm is going to install them within our project here. So I press the enter. As you see, it is gonna look for that. It's gonna take a little bit of time. And something is being downloaded. So package.json. By the way, let me remove this file. Okay. So a folder with, or directory with lots of things related to TypeScript, and a package-log.json. What is it? It is the package.json of this, and the dash log means it has been locked. Okay. So we are not going to play around with this one. This is our package.json of our let's say project. So we have downloaded that, and here I am going to add two directories, which is in fact to go along with the convention, dist and src. These are two directories. What are these two directories? Let me close that one. So here, in fact, we're going to set the whole project in a way that we're going to add up all our files, our TypeScript files in here. Going to add index.ts TypeScript file, and there might be some other ones as well, because the project can be so complicated and can take actually lots of TypeScript files that depend on each other, and by importing and exporting that kind of stuff. Okay, so we might have tens of different TypeScript files, and all of them are going to be placed here in the source directory. And after we do everything actually be done, our coding be done, and our environment be set up, which is actually the purpose of the current video, then we're gonna write down a command which is going to transform all of these TypeScript files in a single JavaScript file. So new file, and I'm going to call this one index.js file. But don't forget that this index.js file is completely, or in fact the naming index or here, or indexing here, These are completely optional and you can go with whatsoever name you want, okay? So don't forget, we are initializing the whole project. After this video, we can add up all the TypeScript files, which is in fact the entry point of our project, okay? In fact, the starting point, better to say, of our project, and this is going to be the result of our project, the index.js file, which is going to contain some stuff within it, and we are going to copy paste or deploy it in whatsoever we want within dynamic CRM. So TypeScript, why to use TypeScript? Why we don't go with we in fact could go with this function load, for example, okay, and say Mr. Load, let a equal to something and alert that, okay? So what is the problem with the JavaScript? So as a result, we are asking the TypeScript to resolve the problem for us. Okay, you can go and search what in fact the TypeScript, what a valid TypeScript language is going to provide us with. But in short, let me give you something. There is a innate, a natural, in fact, problem with JavaScript, and that is JavaScript is not type safe, which means I have declared the value of a in here, okay? So let me clear out that one so you don't confuse some things, some of the things with other things I'm going to write down, okay? So a is the value of a string in here, and I go write some pieces of code on the way, and then somewhere else within the code, out of accident, I change the value to a number. But JavaScript doesn't complain about that. And again, we move ahead, okay, and write down some pieces of code. So we find out that, oh, we have assigned another kind of value to that. And this is, this is gonna raise issues for us, okay? So TypeScript, this is actually the least thing that the TypeScript is going to resolve for us, is going to prevent that. So if I write down a name of a, if I define in here a variable, this variable is inherently, based on the TypeScript language, is of type a string. So if I assign a value of a number, then it is gonna nag at me. It's gonna complain, what the hell is that? Okay, it's not gonna. And so since the language needs a compiler in order to change, actually, in fact, to create the JavaScript, so that is not going to work well, and that's going to prevent the JavaScript file to be created, okay? So in fact, no JavaScript will be created as the output of this TypeScript file. And by the way, we can say, okay, in fact, explicitly, we're gonna declare the types. So if I go and say, Mr. B, you can have a string and also a number, then we can have take, in fact, the value of number somewhere within our code. So it is very beautifully, we can explicitly say that a variable of a specific type can specifically carry values that meets those initial declarations, okay? So this is actually one main problem that TypeScript resolves, okay? So I'm going to clear everything, make sure everything is clean. Okay, let's go to the next one. npx tsc init. Oh, I didn't copy that. Okay, but running that command, we have now a tsconfig.json added to our project. A tsconfig.json file has been added to our project, and we're gonna open that, and oh my god, you're gonna see, ooh, there are a whole lot of key values, most of which are commented out. Are we gonna deal with all of these things? No. We're just gonna pick some of these. Look at this one, keep it in mind. I'm going to delete them and just go with this shorter version of that. And now you're so happy to see that. Okay. So what is this tsconfig.json file? It is a config file that is going to control the behavior of TypeScript, okay? It is a config file, a JSON file in config, like the package.json. But the package.json is gonna manage the whole package, but a tsconfig.json is going just to control the behavior of TypeScript compiler, okay? So it is saying that, Mr. TypeScript compiler, you have these options in hand: module, root dir, and source map. And I am going to explain to you what these values are. So we go with the first one, module. What is a module? I grabbed your attention in a minute before that if you in fact did not pay attention, you can go back 1 minute back and see that the initial value of module was CommonJS. Now its value is ES 2015. Okay, so what is the difference? In fact, we can take, there are two types of modules: the CommonJS and the ES stuff. CommonJS is for Node.js projects, while server-side kinds of JavaScript, again, server-side kinds of JavaScript projects, okay? But if we go with the word of ES, then we're gonna stick ourselves to browser. And so, in fact, ES, which from 2015 has been standardized as ES 2015, ES 2016, ES 2017, and so on and so forth, and almost every year a new standard version of that, new version of the standardization is going to be published by if you go and search in XrmA script, okay, in the browser, XrmA script language specification 2024. So it's gonna provide us with all the specification regarding the JavaScript. In fact, it's a way of standardizing the JavaScript, and I think different browsers are supposed to, in fact, implement these standards. So we're gonna stick with the version 2015, okay? Next, we have root dir. This is the root directory of all our TypeScript files. We could set it to this, right? Which in fact the project folder. And if we do that, then within the node modules, there are a whole lot of TypeScript. Oh no, somewhere, here. You see, there are so many TypeScript files in here. We are not indeed going to do anything with them, because therefore, in fact, TypeScript package, not for us. So we're gonna say, okay, we have specified the src folder in here, and so this, in fact, is the root of all the TypeScript files. And source map. What is source map? Simply said, it is gonna enable us to debug TypeScript code in the browser. So if we want to debug the TypeScript in the browser, suppose this is dynamic CRM, and I have created all this stuff, and I am going, to use the web resource JavaScript. Well, it is good, but if it provides me with a way of debugging the TypeScript file, then I am really going to be so happy. Why? Because the TypeScript file is in fact the main file that I am going to create in here, and that is completely human readable, and it is completely preferable to the JavaScript that is going to be created, the final in fact JavaScript file, because you will see that in a bit that file is going to be so nasty, and not much human readable. So we're gonna set in this package JSON, tsconfig, we're gonna set the source map to true. Okay, so you have a good understanding of all these things. To proceed with the next line, npm install webpack. So webpack is another npm package that we are going to download from the npmjs.com. Webpack. Yeah. So the latest version is in fact 589. And what is it going to do? This is the question. And the answer is, using it, we can bundle all our TypeScript files, which may have a kind of which may stay in kind of a hierarchy way. For example, TypeScript file number 1 is going to import it in another file, and that one be imported in another file. So we have a hierarchy of them. So index.ts is going to use that hierarchy, and this whole bundle of stuff are in fact going to be transformed into our JavaScript file, index.js file. Okay, so the webpack is going to do this magic for us. So it is first going to bundle, and second, it is going to transform the TypeScript into JavaScript. So clear the screen. Oops, I think the webpack itself is missing. Yeah. So here you see webpack CLI, webpack merge, and TS loader. Webpack CLI is going to provide us with some CLI commands, and that's it. Webpack merge, as the name implies, is going to merge the files for us. If we have multiple things, it can, using the webpack merge, it can merge some objects for us. And TS loader, in fact, is a TypeScript loader, which is going to do the magic of transforming the TypeScript into JavaScript. Okay, so we go with it. I think in my file also so it is now taking some time in order to download the package. We're gonna wait. It's not gonna be that long. Most of times it takes, if you have a good internet connection, it is gonna take less than a minute. So, well done, it has been downloaded, but where is it? Where can I check for that? Open the package.json, and you see that in the dependencies and dev dependencies, some stuffs actually have been added. So the TypeScript node package, which we downloaded and installed something like 20 minutes ago with the version 5.3.3, has been added as a dependency, and the Webpack with Webpack CLI and Webpack merge and TS loader, also different versions, also have been added to our package.json file. Okay, so we have downloaded and these are added to our package as well. Okay, so now it is time to in fact configure the Webpack. So for that, we are going to create these two files. Webpack.dev.js and Webpack.prod or production.js. So these are two configuration files. And why do we need these configuration files? It is because we are going to tell the Webpack where actually our JavaScript files, TypeScript files, the initial files, let's say, reside, and whether we are going to deploy them as a development environment or production environment. And that's gonna impact the output.js, in fact, the output.js. So for the first, we go up to here. We save it. And for a second, we go up to here. And note that we're getting close to the end of the file. And now you are getting so happy. And a smile is gonna appear on your face. So these two files basically are very close to each other with just a very, very little differences that I will explain. So I go with the dev. So what is this? A path, a merge, and export. Okay? So what is a path? Path is the project directory. So the project directory is going to reside in here. Okay? And the merge is an object that is going to be created from the Webpack merge that we just have downloaded. Okay? So we use that merge object in order to merge two things, two objects in fact. This and this. So the merge is going to, in fact, merge two objects for us. I'm going to explain the first object and then the second object. Okay. So the first object, it has an entry, some processing, and the output. Okay. The entry, some processing, and the output. And the entry is index.ts file. Okay, so in the source directory, we have specified the index.ts. Again, the name is completely up to you. Whatsoever name you name this file is going to be reflected in here as well. Okay, so this is actually going to be the entry. Let me write some pieces of code. Export class sample. And within this class, I am going to write down static async. Let's call it load method. Okay. So we are going to set a debugger, and we are going to let a be of type string. Hello guys, and I'm going to alert that. Okay, so I have written some piece of code here in the index.ts file. So in the source we only have one file, and we're going to stick with that. But you can, as I explained, we can have multiple files in here. So the final index.ts file is going to reflect all of them. or the ones which we are going to be reflected in the output. I have saved that. I go to the, so this is the file and the output, and the output is index.js, which resides in the dist, in the path object that we created, okay, the dist directory. And we're gonna provide with a library name, which is in fact a namespace. Okay, so keep in mind that it is a namespace, and I will tell you what it means. The varies is a variable that we're going to set. Okay, so from here we are in fact telling the webpack that go and get the files from here and do something and put them in here. And what is in fact those things that it is going to do for us? We go to the module and we create a rule and say, Mr. TS Loader, or let's say in another way, Mr. Transformer, go and transform everything of the TS file, every TypeScript file, excluding anything that stays within here. Because in here, as I told you before, there are a whole lot of TypeScript files. Or if I find like this one, and so many other TypeScript files that reside within other folders, exclude all of them, okay, and just go in fact with the remaining thing in fact are the ones that under the src directory. Okay, so go and transform them and reflect them in the index.js file. So now you have a good understanding on the first object. Okay, so the first object is now clear to you. And the second object, the mood development. When we set the mood to development, the kind of output file is gonna change from, actually it's going to be completely different from the production. In fact, the production version of the output file will be more organized, let's say, more, in fact, shorter, smaller in size, optimized, and you will see, in fact, how these two, I'm going to show to you how different these are. So for production purpose, we're going to stick with the webpack.prod.js, and for development phase, we're going to use the first file. Okay. And the last but not the least, what is DevTool? What is DevTool? So every browser has a DevTool. Okay. If I right click in here and I go to more tools and developer tool, or simply press the F12 button, we're gonna get to here, and this is the DevTool, okay, which is the DevTool in Chrome. So we in fact are going to provide a DevTool to evaluate source map. Okay, so what is the eval or evaluator? I again open by pressing F12. I open the console, in fact the DevTool, and here in the console I write down eval. Oh, it is not letting me to do that because it's interpreting it as unsafe. So actually what eval does, unfortunately my browser doesn't let me to do that. Eval in fact is going to evaluate a string, a piece of a string, and to run that, okay, execute that. Okay, we are in fact going to tell the browser, go and eval the source map. And what is the source map? I explained to you earlier in the package.json. I'm sorry, in the tsconf, sorry, in the TS source map, I have set that to true. So in fact, it is going to be debuggable. And here it is going to use that, the eval-source map. So the source map file is going to be evaluated. So it seems like it is going to be like a string. It is going to be like a string that is going to be something in here, okay, that is going to be evaluated or evaled. We will see that in a bit. So now you have a complete understanding of what it is. And also the difference between the webpack.dev.js and the webpack.prod.js is that the prod.js does not contain the, actually it should not contain, we can say that we can in fact bring this key value to here. We can copy paste that, but it should not be, it is not professional, okay, because the production version is going to be so lightweighted and less crowded. So everything is prepared. All the configurations have been set. Oh, there is one thing left. We have two scripts, two pieces of code, and you know the idea. I just go right ahead to the package.json, and in here earlier I have defined two scripts. So now I am going to stick with these two ones, and if you agree with me, I can remove those previous ones. So everything is now ready to use, ready to launch. And so I write down in here npm run-script, and I go with the build. So the webpack is doing all those transformation stuff, and based on the configuration file, like this file, it is going to transform everything from here to here. And it has been done successfully. And I open the file. Wow, wow, wow. The eval stuff I explained to you. All this non-human readable or hard to understand kind of stuff. So let's say yeah, let's go to the other version, npm run-script. The dist is going to run again. It has been successfully done, so it has gone all those stuffs, and the index.js file, wow, this time it is different. So the production version is different from the development version. As I told you, it is meaningfully less sized, and it is more optimized. And as I said, you can deploy to your to your production environments. Okay. So both of these commands, actually, when we run either this one or that one, they're going to jump to their related webpack.js file. And for example, with the build, when I press it, what it does is that it's gonna go to the entry. In fact, the script runs. Okay, the npm run-script build. This is being run. I go to the tsconfig. Oh, where is that? It is here. Sorry, the package.json. We are telling, okay, Mr. Build, go npx webpack-config webpack.dev.js. So it is the name of our webpack. This is the name of this configuration file. It is telling you go and run this command. Okay, so this file is going to run as a command, and all content within it are going to run as a command. So the entry point is in fact the src, The output will be the index.js. The modules, in fact, are going to, in fact, the rule is going to transform these to this, excluding everything from here. And since it is going to be of the mood development, and plus it's going to provide us with the eval source map, so this file is gonna appear. Wow, I run it. You see? And within this file, I am going to give you some deeper understanding on what eval actually is doing. So if you go, first of all, the eval is running a piece of a string. And I have copied that string. You see, it is a string. So eval is doing that thing, okay? So eval function is going to eval this whole bunch of stuff. And if you note, you see that there is a source mapping URL, which has been set to true in the tsconfig. And it is bringing with itself a base 64 encoded version of something. I am going to copy paste that. It is up to here. I am going to copy that. Okay, so it is gonna create some index.ts file for us. Let's go and see what it is. I go to base 64 encode, decode. Now I'm going to decode it. We're gonna wait for it to open up. I wish there'd be no problem with my internet connection. Let me check on that. Sorry. Okay, so it opened up. So I am going to decode this encoded file. Wow, it is version 3 file, which is called index.ts. It seems like the index.typescript file with all of its content, okay, and the mapping, those source mapping stuff are being in fact carried with the index.js. So you see, index.js is having the base 64 encoded version of the TypeScript file. So it is in fact the index.js is carrying the original index.ts file with it. Okay, and this is exactly what I was telling you, that when index.js is carrying with itself the index.ts, so in the browser will have understanding of the browser within Dynamics will have the understanding of the TypeScript file, and so it is going to be evaled, and so when it is evaled, it's going to run, and when it runs, it means that you can debug it. So now it is time to go to the Dynamics. I'm going to create a solution. And by the way, I am going with the old web client, but it doesn't make any difference with the unified interface or the in fact the new interface. It is completely okay as well. So I'm going to call it something like demo. Yeah, and demo, and I go with the JavaScript file and copy paste that. Going to publish it. So now I go to, for example, the accounts, form, the properties, yeah, and here I'm going to add the function. Okay, so now what to add as the function in here? Let's see. Earlier I told you that in the output there is a key value, library, and some value within it. Okay, and I told you that it is gonna act as a namespace. So the default value is client.js. You can name it whatever you want. So if I choose this client.js as a namespace, okay, let me put in here. Then I go with the index.ts file and choose the class name and say, okay, this is it. And again, I go with the function load. It seems like I am calling the method load by calling its class in the namespace of client.js, right? So it seems like it is the fully qualified name of the method, and it is exactly the same way as in Visual Studio. So I open the Visual Studio again. As you see, oh, come on. Oh, the entry point, the program. And here, the namespace is CRM type, the class, and the method. So it can go something like, if we were going to use this method somewhere, we would say, okay, dot program dot main, right? And for example, to run it. Of course, it's gonna create an infinite loop. I'm just going to give you the idea. So namespace, class, method. Namespace, class, method. So we are going to copy that. Yeah. It is enabled. Publish. And by the way, what's we're going to appear? Yeah, hello guys. I'm waiting for the hello guys to appear. Clearing the cache and refreshing. Hello guys. Wow. So our job is done. So good. So now I'm going to open the DevTools in order to show to you that the index.ts file. You see, the index.ts file is appearing in here, and I can debug it, right? I can debug my code. This code indeed is very easy, but in case of complex codes, indeed the debugging and the debugger thing is very is quite going to be beneficial for us. And the magic comes with, as I told you, it comes with this encrypted section, with this encrypted file, which is the encryption of the index.ts file, which has been set by the event source map in the configuration file. So we have reached almost okay. So far we have reached almost the end of the file, but there is one last command that we are going to run. We go to the VS Code and we are going to install XRM types. So as we get them installed from the repository, while we are waiting for the files to be downloaded, now we have TypeScript files. We can look for xrm dot, let's say, navigation dot open alert, and these are the things that these are in fact the objects that have been defined within the repository, and we can use them within our project. So we almost have done everything. The file is done, the configuration is over, and now we are ready to move to the next video, which is going to be jumping right into the XrmTypeFast and using that library. Thank you so much.